G'day! In today's video I'll be replacing the back cover on a Pixel 4 XL, which after doing the replacement of this probably has become one of my most hated back cover replacements of any modern phone or any current phone. To get into it, you're going to need to use a heat or a hot surface. I've got it on a heat mat or heat pad at 75 degrees Celsius, and now I'm just skimming around the phone using a thin metal pry tool and some isopropyl alcohol put on there. So as you can see, getting into the device is pretty straightforward. That's not the challenge of this. So right now there is a rear sensor still connected, which leads up and to the rear camera lens. So I'll keep prying. Now the isopropyl is highly recommended. It does make it a lot easier to get into there. Especially even if you don't have heat, the isopropyl definitely helps. So once you've opened it up, you're going to want to disconnect that rear sensor. I'm just removing a bit of shard of glass that's still there, or a bit of adhesive that's giving me some trouble. And from there, you're going to use a T2 screwdriver to remove the bracket covers. So here we go, you should be able to see this in just a second. T2 times 25mm. Now just get the camera in the correct spot. There we go, I'll proceed from here. There we go, one bracket removed. So now here comes the challenge. We've got to remove I believe it's a QI charging pad, an NFC pad, and also a little microphone that seems to connect up to the rear camera lens. So I'll just clean up this a little bit further, just get rid of the rest of the glass shards. Now I'll keep going with that a bit later. But the dilemma here is removing all the various pads that need to be switched onto the replacement screen purely because they don't come with it. So also being a very expensive part, it also doesn't come with everything you need. So right now I'm using isopropyl alcohol and a thin metal pry tool to try and remove the adhesive. A bit of tweezers help with it as well. But this, if you haven't done a back cover replacement before, I certainly wouldn't want this to be your first one, that's for sure. As this part here was ridiculously difficult to get it off without damaging it. And even then, it's still a high risk of damaging it anyway. So yeah, not fun at all. So as you see, I'm using a bit of a sawing motion with the metal pry tool. But yeah, a whole bunch of isopropyl to soften that adhesive so you can hopefully just simply peel it up. Heat didn't really change too much with this. So I'd say if you have the option of spending an extra $20 to $40 with all this stuff installed, I would definitely be buying that instead. Now I won't fast forward the video, but I'll start talking again at around the 7-minute mark. So I believe this is a rear-facing microphone, but I'm not 100% certain on that. Removing this was relatively straightforward. You should be able to just remove this off your old back cover and install this onto your new back cover. But as I've already said, I wouldn't recommend doing that with wouldn't recommend doing it with the charging pad and the NFC on the back. If you can get a back cover with the NFC and the other pad, and you just have to move this over, I'll definitely be picking that up. Anyway, resticking these isn't too bad, mainly because they still remain fairly tacky from the old back cover. So reinstalling these should be relatively straightforward. So from here on out, I'm just going to let the video play, and I'll catch you guys in another video. Bye.